You know what time it is.
What's up, beer people?
If you heard it on the hashtag Beer Town, it's true.
It must be true.
It's true. It is fact. Please, won't you name one of your beers Cart Horse?
And just do something terrible. Just shit beer.
Stick your finger in there every now and again.
Stir it with the sock.
Every show, it feels like my first show.
Every show is a new adventure.
Having some good conversation here, Mr. Troy.
Did I make sense there? I think I did.
I love them all.
Are we all fair?
Hello, beer fans. Welcome to another episode of Hashtag Beer Time with me, T-Bone Troy, the show where we talk to interesting and delightful people in the beer community. Today's show is all about the Fools and Fans Festival, which happened in Greyton over the first weekend of April. We had some friends, Fools and Fans. No, we had two good friends in the studio, Greg and Carl, who have been on the show before. They are from Beer Country. We generally, we seem to always have a good vibe, or gees, in the studio. Gees directly being translated from Afrikaans as spirits, but it's more of a vibe or an energy that one brings into the room. So there's always that when the three of us together, we drank some awesome beers. We chatted about the weekend that was coming up and how they were involved. They were in charge of the food and beer pairing, which was extremely popular and got a lot of attention. And the whole show is just dedicated to the festival and what is soon to become an annual event in the South African calendar. So, without further ado, I hope you enjoy this show, and as always, let me know what you think. Cheers.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the studios of Cape Town, Loop Street, hashtag Beer Time, Two Oceans Vibe Radio. Welcome. How you doing? How you feeling? Did you have a good long weekend? Oh, yes, I had a great weekend. We had the Two Oceans Vibe, we had the Two Oceans Marathon, which was a vibe. That was on Saturday, which yours truly ran. And it's been a great Easter weekend. I hope you had a fun time, a safe time. We've just had our second guest arrive in the studio. What a gentleman, what a chap. He may not be punctual, but he is certainly well loved in the beer community. I'm not even going to try and batter these guys up into giving them an introduction. If you don't know them or haven't heard of them, well, I guess shame on you, but it's they are Greg and Carl from Beer Country. There's no other way to say it. Gentlemen, hello, how are you?
Good. Long weekend. Too much beer, too much food. Story of our lives. What's up, beer people?
Do you like that? Do you like the music?
Loved it, bro. Happy days.
Carl, how are you doing? You just
Good, man.
adjust that mic. It's good.
Is it right? I can't hear myself.
No, you sound perfect. You guys can take those things off.
Yeah, let's get rid of it.
I need them just to hear the sultry sounds of my voice. So guys,
Sorry I'm late.
no, hey,
man. Hey, it's Cape Town.
hey, don't worry about that. But guys, we've got a very cool show lined up. Been looking forward to the show actually for a while now because we knew it was coming.
Yeah.
Even though I only messaged you 2 days ago to say just a reminder, but
Well, we were proactive about booking it. Like, let's give ourselves that.
No,
we booked it a while back.
we had the who was that? Nostradamus. We had the foresight to book a spot. We
Let's
knew
go with that. Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah,
Absolutely,
okay,
yeah.
we can go
It's
with
the
that.
problem when you make arrangements at beer events, because you never remember the arrangements.
You never remember anything. Guys, let's crack open a beer. Thank you very much to the music and the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, again, welcome. Hashtag Beer Time. There's so much to talk about. Let's just crack open a beer.
Yeah.
Beer first.
And this is a beer that is, I suppose it's limited, really. I'm not going to talk about it. Greg, you can maybe just tell us a little bit
Well,
about
I
it.
can. I had a chat to two of the guys involved.
Yeah.
And it is a good beer to start with for the weekend. There is a festival, in case anyone has heard. You know, let's be April Fools and let's be beer fans and all the rest of it.
You know it.
So this is one of the beers that was a collab between Stefan from Little Wolf and Trevor from Old Potters. It is a saison. It is a, what's it called? A Go Boss.
Go Boss.
Go Boss.
That's the one.
That is the one. That is the one. And it might make a little sneaky appearance at the Beer Country Food and Beer Pairing event.
Ooh, you are. I remember last time we had you on the show. I think in the first 5 minutes you just said everything.
Okay, well, let's stop talking about that. Pull up the handbrake.
You got to rein him in there.
I'm going to ask you just to push your mic a little bit towards me.
There you go, my friend. How about that?
There we go. And
Is that
you're
better?
fine. Yeah.
Okay, we're good. Sorry if I blasted anyone's ears there. Too excited.
No, we need to be excited.
Well, it is that kind of week and it's that kind of weekend, but let's get back to the beer. So this is a saison brewed with two different strains of yeast. One is more fruity and one is more spicy.
Okay.
And then I think what they did was add some local Greyton honey as part of the secondary fermentation.
Honey or honey bush?
No, honey.
Honey, okay.
Honey, well, both, actually, because why do one thing when you can do two? So, yeah, I added some honey, added some Greyton honey in there to help, according to Stefan, dry the beer out a bit. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then, there was some honey bush tea in the boil. So, yeah, really, really getting involved there. It's exciting times when people are doing these weird and wonderful things with beer.
Let's cheers before we have a little.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Cheers! Yay!
Definitely
So,
smells
what
like.
do you mean it's been a while? It's been about, I don't know if it's even been 48 hours since the last beer.
The sweat that's coming out of me. It's not. It's not
How was
normal
your
sweat.
anniversary?
Yeah, it was good.
There we
Ooh,
go.
ooh.
Cheers to that.
Cheers
sir.
to anniversary, Troy. Cheers,
Um,
Lauren.
yes.
2 years in.
Let's hope she's listening. No, we'll talk about the anniversary. But let's talk about this festival. Let's talk about this beer.
Can I have a sip of beer?
Let's have a sniff. Ooh, and a little sip.
It's got quite a champagne-y,
What you'd expect to get from a.
quite warm and champagne-y on the snout. Suppose that's from the combo of the two different yeasts. It's pretty damn tasty.
Yeah, I look. It's in terms of it's a saison.
Yeah.
There's a very good yeasty, fruity flavor on the nose. I must apologize. I think that these beers could have been a little bit colder. That's my bad.
Oh, it's
So bad.
Nice and tepid.
Yeah.
Really bringing out those flavors.
No, but
No, it's good.
Well,
if-
come on.
yeah.
So you're like what? 12, 13 degrees is good.
if it was
Yeah?
anything colder, it actually maybe it would hide a lot of the.
So what you're saying is
aromatic.
it's the perfect temperature.
So
Well
what,
done.
what I'm saying is,
Perfect.
there's a reason why we do things here
Oh,
on
no.
hashtag
It's
beer time.
quite bitter. Yeah? Is it just me?
That I don't know. I think that might be you. When did you brush your teeth?
I don't know. This morning.
Did you? Do you brush your teeth?
Yeah. It's got that kind of farmhouse ale viscosity to it. Nice
peppery.
little bit of thickness and so definitely some spice in there.
It's not a.
Good.
It's not a hop bitterness.
No, it's like
It's a
peppery
herbal.
bitterness. Yeah, herbal bitterness.
It's a herbal bitterness coming through. No, this is delicious.
It's good.
I threatened to phone Trevor, and I think we're going to have to do it.
Maybe give him a call.
I think we should
Give
give
him
him
a
a
shout.
call. He is expecting.
I don't know. Do we have 15 minutes for a
Yeah,
phone call?
no.
No, we'll tell him it's a quick phone call.
Let's see what Uncle
A
Trevor has
first.
to say.
But first,
Troy,
Trevor, you are live on hashtag Beer Time. How you doing?
very well in yourself.
Trevor, there's a bit of rumours going around that there might be a little festival happening this weekend.
A little country get together.
Now, I understand that you will be there. Is this true?
Very much.
The fans
Very
need to.
much so.
We're in the studio with Greg and Carl, and we just thought.
How's it, guys?
Hi, Trev.
What's up, Trev?
No, we thought we need.
How's it?
We need to compliment you on this gobos. It's very delicious.
Well, thank you very much. It's that we made with this beetle particularly for Clarence, actually.
Okay.
It's got local blue gum honey from the Overberg area.
Very
and
nice.
It's also got a very special local indigenous tea called honeybush tea that is used by the locals. So there's a very faint botanical note to it, maybe not as strong as we would have liked, but it's definitely there. And I think there's also some honey notes, but the dryness is what I think we got very.
You know what?
spot on.
It's spot on, and I think you're probably going to run out on Saturday if you have it there. So it is a delicious beer. We are enjoying it in the studio.
Don't run out before the food and beer pairing.
But
Fantastic. So we're very excited about pairing up with Beer Country guys, and we've got a very, very exciting beer pairing planned, as you know. And how's the stout? Aren't you happy with your stout, Troy?
well, we haven't tucked into it yet. We're going to tackle it in the next maybe half an hour. But I think what the people really want to know is, will you be at the festival, and can they get their hug? I think there were a few opportunities or a few moments prior to this organizing of this event where you promised free hugs to people who bought tickets.
I think we should make
It's
a
going to
t-shirt.
be one of those hugs where I clutch the buttocks.
Okay,
Very special.
we're going to have to end the phone call.
And we're done.
It's going to be a special warm beer hug. So we're very excited about it. The autumn in the Overberg is stunning.
Is nothing better.
We hope that this grows in a kind of particular organic way. It's a slightly niche beer festival, and I think you'll agree, Troy, trying to showcase the more independent-minded brewers, the breweries that are
The wacky
run and
guys,
managed-
yes.
Yeah, run and managed by their owners, and also highlighting some of the exciting stuff that the local home brewers are doing as well. I think that's quite an important component to it.
It's a festival for the people, by the people, if I can quote some.
Sure.
Cool.
Abraham Beer Lincoln.
That's who I'm going for. Trev, thank you very much for the chat, and we'll chat again soon.
Thank you. Good luck, and I'll be listening. Have a
Cheers,
good-
Trev.
Cheers. Oh,
Well, there we go. The man himself.
gotta love him, hey?
Huh?
Let's just make sure I'm still recording here.
Oh, dropping the ball only
Dropping the
after
ball.
one beer.
It's probably the easiest doctor you're ever going to get hold of. Eh? Which doctor answers after one ring?
Cool. So we've got this delicious Gobo Saison in front of us from Old Potter's Brew House, and the collaboration between Old Potter's Brew House and Little Wolf.
Yeah.
Which both brewers will be there at the Greyton Festival Beer. So let's turn our attention to the Saturday. It's obviously something which we've had in our calendar. I actually think it's probably for a year.
Since last year.
Since the
Hands
first
down.
one finished, I think Trevor immediately set the dates for this one, which was, I think we just decided the first Saturday of every April.
Yeah.
Last year it fell on April Fool's Day, which incidentally was Trevor's birthday. I mean, it's still Trevor's
still
birthday. So this year, I mean, this year's we've been hyping it up for 365 days, almost 365 days. So it's been in our calendars. We're super excited. It's grown. It's going to get bigger. You'll be happy to know that we've sold 10 times more tickets online than we did last year.
Right, as you should. You know.
That's
So-
a misleading figure. What was last year? What?
Right? So 10 to 100, or, you know.
So I mean,
Millions.
Cape Town's obviously the Cape Town festival goer is very.
The cuck. Yeah,
I'm gonna
it
steal
is-
some
They
more of
leave
this
things,
beer while you
they
guys are
leave things
talking
to the
rubbish.
last minute. So no, we're very excited, and just to tell the people who are listening, I'm sure you've heard it before, but there are 16 craft breweries going. We've got 2 gin stands, we've got 2 wine stands, we've got a whole bunch of local cuisine, some guys from around the town who bring in some of their food, and we've got something else which I think a lot of people should get excited about. And we had it last year, and it was kind of like dipping your big toe into a pond. And I think this year
A pond full of beer.
a pond full of
Full
beer,
of beer.
into a sticking your well, I don't know if you'd want to put your toe into a mash tun or a brew pot.
You try.
I've done it before.
There's nothing that we can't do. But I'm talking obviously about the Fools and Fans food and beer pairing hosted by yours truly in the
Absolutely.
studio.
Yeah.
Exciting times.
What on earth should we expect?
Sure. Do you want to? Are we going straight there?
Just go
Okay.
straight into it.
Yeah,
Don't give us everything. Don't give us the hospital. But as we said off air, just give them a little teaser, an appetizer. so to speak.
Appetizer. Okay. Well, I mean, let's start with this. You know, there's a rumor flying around that there might be we are the food and fire guys, and yes, there's beer involved. There's a rumor that there's a recipe book on the cards a little bit later on this year. So we've been doing a lot of work on that. And where last year a lot of the food and the pairings and everything like that were, I don't want to say basic, but were what's the word I'm looking for?
Well, we had no control over them, so it was
Yeah.
kind of we hosted, but it wasn't really our menu.
Yeah, it wasn't our menu. So this year we super excited that Trevor actually got hold of us and said, "Listen, guys, can even not being caterers as such, there's 40 people. They love beer as much as you guys do. Let's do the food thing together." And I think last year was a good first run. But yeah, some of the stuff that we've kind of got stuck into, in the research for the recipe book and everything like that it's some next level cooking with craft.
So we're going to see a little
Stuff.
bit. We're going to see some stuff
Definitely a first for South
taken
Africa.
out of that recipe book. We're going to see
Yeah.
some little sneaky treats.
Absolutely.
Absolutely,
And
yeah.
they are treats. Believe me, they are treats. They are proper treats.
So we could even say it'll be a little bit the first time some of us are going to see some of these treats.
Oh, absolutely.
This is the first run for all of these treats.
All of these treats. We're going to call you guys guinea pigs for a little bit. It's and we'll
So
see.
these are separate tickets, just to let people know. These are separate tickets to the actual festival. For those of you wanting to know, it's 100 Rand to get into the festival. That gets you your free glass. You can go around getting tasters. You can go. I mean, I think if there's 16 brewers and they each bring 3 or 4 beers,
Yeah, it's
you're not going to get through
Yeah.
everything. So that's just the entrance to the festival. Then we've decided to make this food and beer pairing 120 Rand, which
Which
gives
is super reasonable.
super reasonable.
No, but-
five courses, 5 beers.
5 courses, 5 beers.
Yeah.
It's a bargain. It's just ridiculous. So that's on top of getting into the festival. And as we also said off air, that's going to sell out soon. We've sold 50% of those.
Yeah, we're
of
halfway
it.
through.
So
There
I
are
think
only
there's
I think there are only 40 places.
only 40 places.
Half
We've
of
sold
them
about
gone.
20.
Yeah.
And they will. I can tell you, people right now, if you are listening and you do not have your tickets, don't be the fool. Be the fan. Oh,
There we
that's
go.
the first time I've worked for that.
That's the line.
It's taken me 360 days to figure that out. So make sure you go get your ticket. They are available pre-sold on Quicket. Your tickets on Quicket, and you can. I suppose you can get as many tickets as you want, but don't be an idiot and miss out and get FOMO.
Yeah, as everyone kind of knows, it's going to feature a lot of kind of braai chow, and but it'll be classy braai chow, classy, delicious, yummy, get in my belly, stick to your ribs braai chow.
No, it's going to be fun as well, man. We want it to be a good atmosphere. This is actually the first beer pairing, the Go
The
Boss.
Go Boss.
So
Yeah.
it's quite good to
So
get a feel for
how do you go about introducing people to food and beer pairing? Because
Well,
I'm trying to think from when I was first introduced to it in varsity, and that was, no offense or no disrespect, but it was with a Hansa Pilsner, a Peroni, a Castle Lights, and a Black Label, and they paired it with these dishes, and I was trying to.
Yeah.
We've actually spoken about it on the show before.
Yeah. There's not much variance there.
It's like
That's
you
the
need
issue.
to be
It's
so-
honest, yeah.
Your palate needs to be so beer sensitive to pick up the nuances and differences in those beers
I think once you
to
put
pair it with the food.
Once you put food into the mix, the nuances.
Yeah. I mean, with this kind of food and beer pairing event, the assumption from our side is that everybody loves food and beer, and food is delicious with beer. I mean, that's it. It's at
You're
a
going to
beer
get some
festival,
idiot sticking his
and
hand
it's-
up.
Yeah, right.
No,
And
not
it's-
me, I'm alright.
Yeah. And it's we've all done the IPA with blue cheese.
Yes.
We've all done the dark chocolate with coffee stout. We've done those things. I mean, the first beer pairing that anyone probably in South Africa would have ever had is like a lager and biltong, chili biltong, which is great, and there's reasons that it works and everything like that. Now we're going a little bit deeper into the the kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Flavor bomb territory, where you are dealing with, you know, the 5 different taste sensations, and then really trying to pick up the beer. So we've curated the beers and the food very specifically to pick up a few things, and chosen the beers properly, and it's
We've also
going
gone
to
for
be
big beers, so there's
it's
quite a
big
big
beers.
variance between the beers. So it's none of the, we're not starting at lager and moving to pilsner. We're starting with this guy, the Go Boss, which there's a lot of flavour in there.
Is it a Go Boss or is it a Go Boss?
I'm going Boss.
Okay, it's Go Boss. Okay, yeah.
But sure, I think it's
I was being more
Like Go Boss, bro.
I think with food and beer pairing, it's a funny thing. Like it shouldn't be as complicated as people try and make it out to be. Like you put Worcester sauce on a pie because it tastes good.
Yeah.
It's a similar thing.
Yeah.
Things taste good together. So when we approach this, it's about finding the beer. What's in the beer that we think is nice? Like this, as you said, it's got that peppery, saison character. So we're going to pair it with something that's got a punchy, funky character.
Yeah.
We're not trying to do things that are so complicated that you have to sit down and think about it for 20 minutes before
For sure.
it's delicious food with delicious beers.
I guess it's also cementing some people's thoughts on the possibilities of what they're picking up. Like in terms of this IPA does actually go nicely with this chili biltong.
Yeah.
Just to pick up on what you gave as an example, I know that if I was drinking a light lager or whatever, and then had it biltong and then went back to that same beer, that beer would taste a little bit different, maybe a little bit bland. Or I'm just picking out an example. So by going to a stronger beer, an IPA or something like that, it would complement what's the word? Contrast the beer. So it's just cementing some people's thoughts.
Yeah.
And it's just
It accentuates
that repetition that we need to keep doing, so that we're on the same level as a wine and cheese platter.
Well, I mean, there's so much more that beer offers than wine. That's the thing, and we've said it.
That is a fact.
We've said it a bunch of times.
Lucy
before.
agrees. Lucy has said
it's not just it's not just beer geeks being beer geeks. It's true. Yeah.
Yeah, it's and wine and food's delicious. There's nothing wrong with it, but we work with fire, and those caramelized, beautiful, delicious, smoky flavors, and that's just better with beer. It just is. It's that's. It just is. It just is.
That's science right there.
Yeah, I mean, and to your point, and also Carl said this a bunch of times before. There's a reason you don't put a lightweight and a heavyweight in a boxing ring together. You need beers that stand up to the food that's there, and you need food that stands up to the beer. And that's definitely part of what we're going for on the weekend. So, definitely don't come there expecting, light, subtle, let's look for flavors. That's definitely not going to happen.
I'm super excited. So just to reiterate what we've been talking about, that is the food and beer pairing happening this Saturday at the Fools and Fans Festival in Greyton. Yes, that's a mouthful, and we're expecting the same from you guys. Sometimes I hate myself for these things that I say. Before we move on to the next beer, we've been talking for 20 minutes without even announcing that we have a competition. You can win tickets to the Fools and Fans Beer Festival this Saturday, and all you have to do is...
Are you asking for a suggestion?
Say how's it? No, you need to go onto Twitter and just say anything along the lines of, I'm looking forward to Fools and Fans Festival. Make sure to tag us and at us on Twitter. Am I saying the right words? You
sound very millennial, yeah.
Do I sound good? Yeah. And just make sure your tweets are on fleek.
On fleek.
Fleek.
Yeah,
close enough. There we go. I should just quit while I'm ahead. So just make sure, if you want 2 tickets to this weekend, maybe we'll give away more. Who knows?
And you really should come, man. This is an amazing little festival. We went last year. It was kind of last minute, and I was kind of two minds about it, and Greg was like, let's go. And I'm so glad we went because, yes, it was so much fun.
It's a beautiful town.
Greyton is an amazing little town. Never been there. And it really comes alive with the fest because it's literally one road.
You can walk everywhere, so there's no drinking and driving because drunk driving is cuck.
Ample parking.
Yeah.
And so there's actually no excuse
find a cheap little bit Airbnb,
Airbnb,
and
whatever it is.
I even had friends last year who had a holiday house in Honors,
Oh, cool.
and they hired an Uber or a taxi. I think the taxi was
I remember this.
$600, but there were 6 of them.
To and from.
That's awesome.
And
Yeah.
so it's just like, okay, well, that's
That works.
that's taken the whole drinking and driving aspect out of it, and they can all have fun.
No, look, I've said this to Greg a few times already. I think there's potential here for this to become, I wouldn't say as big as Clarence, but this could definitely be our version of a little weekend away beer
Well,
festival.
that is the goal, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
No reason it couldn't
it's
be.
good to
Yeah.
aim high, you know, and see what you can get. But what would you say Clarence numbers are? They get about 10,000.
I've
Is
never
that
been.
No idea, never been.
That's the conversation for another time.
Oh, okay. Well, I think we're gonna have to plan a little #beertime/beer country trip up next year.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do want the Greyton Fools and Fans Beer Festival to become a destination beer event, beer festival. If you think about Clarence, it's a tiny town. Everyone has to travel. With Joburg, it's 3 hours. KZN, if you're traveling from Pietermaritzburg, it's 2.5 hours or whatever. My timing is off there. Bloem, you have to travel an hour. So it's
It's a commitment.
you have
Yeah.
you have to drive to that festival, and it's sold out every year.
Greyton, 1 hour.
1.5.
1.5 hours.
And I mean, what?
If you drive like Trevor, 1.5
1.5
hours.
hours.
And I mean, chatting with old Trev from Old Potters, you know, he's very not worried, but very committed to involving the whole town.
Yes.
In the festival, you know, he's gotten us to chat to a couple of
he
people that
cares.
are local food producers. A lot of the restaurants are getting involved, and I mean that's the thing, and that's one of the reasons why Clarence works so well is because you've got buy-in from the whole town.
Yes.
And I think Trev is going about it really in the right way as far as Greyton goes. The festival, I think, is from 11 a.m. till 6 p.m.
Correct.
So not going to stand on too many toes after hours or anything like that. Like you say, you can walk everywhere. The restaurants are involved in the town.
They still have
Fantastic.
they still have their morning market every Saturday, and that's the reason why we didn't start it too early.
Okay.
We didn't want to
That is
eat into
a
the
crafty weekend, right?
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, so you've got your craft, your food kind of market in the morning, fresh fruits, vegetables, pastries, breads. I think that's from, I stand to be corrected, but that's from 8 until 10.
Fantastic for a hangover.
Yeah.
And then, then it's the beer fest.
Straight to the beer
We're
fest.
not going to be hungover.
No, none of this. None of that.
We have
none
a
of
job
that.
to do.
We do
So-
have a job to
So a
do.
little bit less hungover.
Special announcements.
Oh.
Now,
This better be good, Because this is in the pairing, Shut up! This better be good, okay?
Making me nervous.
this
Have you ever tasted this before?
Oh, he hasn't tasted
this is the first time. This is the first time I'm trying this. So,
Oh,
We
shit.
better rinse glasses.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
Ladies and-
I've got some more here.
I've got some more. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about my stout that I made at Old Potter's Brew House with the talented Mr. Tatenda, who is a wonderful chap and an awesome brewer. So we collabed this beer and we made an oatmeal stout. And this is a recipe that I've always worked with, always had in my recipe book. So
Arsenal.
this is the first time I've brewed a big batch. Anything more than 50 liters. I think we made maybe 400 liters of this. So that's
Fair
10
amount,
10
yeah.
times the amount that I'm used to making. So
So are you trying to set us up here for like
Yeah.
disappointments? Or what are you
I'm not sure what to expect. But Trevor has assured me that it is drinkable.
Not all. Not all.
So let's. This is the first that we're going to
I think it's number 4 in the pairing, so by then everyone will be,
Everyone will be licked.
it'll be fun. This is amazing, right?
Yeah.
Looks good.
So it's low carbonated as far as I know.
Let's check this out. So oatmeal stout, huh?
Well, let's have a little smell here. A little bit microfoam. Okay, I'm getting some nice chocolate, some nice biscuits.
It's quite
I want to dive right in.
reddish. Yeah, a little bit of caramel, some dark fruit in there as well.
Dark fruit on the nose as well.
Yeah.
I'm happy with this. I'm
No.
just trying to pick up. I'm obviously when you make something that's your own, you're very critical.
We're in the homebrew club with you. We know.
Yes, so I'm very
Yeah.
critical about what this is tasting like. My first impressions is that I'm a little bit worried about the carbonation, but in counter arguing that, I'd always wanted this to be not carbonated with CO2, but with nitrogen.
Nitro.
And that gives it a lot softer, smoother kind of feel. Just
So
a
will it
Guinness.
be on nitro
At the festival.
No, I think it's just going to be at this low carbonation.
Okay.
Usually when you pressure your beer, and that's in the keg, and when it comes out on tap, you're looking at between 2.2 and 3 bar in terms of pressure and CO2 pressure. As far as I know, this is below 2 bar, so it's at about 1.6, 1.8. So even, half of what you'd expect some of your very fizzy beers to be. But cheapers, I'm very happy with this. This
It's got quite a dry finish. A little bit, quite a bit of bitterness there.
Got a nice
Nice.
mouthfeel.
A little
It has
roasty bitter
It
finish.
has a surprising amount of bitterness, which
Yeah.
I never aimed for my oatmeal stout to be bitter. But that's obviously just the,
Malt.
I don't know, just...
No, well, like bitter's the new black as far as food goes, so we're good.
Well, actually,
What does that even mean?
I don't know, Matt Preston said it on Master. I'm like, let's just go with it.
with regards to the black malt, yes, black malt does actually contribute a bitterness. But when we made this beer, I knew that, and that's why I only added that black malt with 20 minutes to go into the mash. So we did all the base malts, we did the caramel malts together, and that soaks for about an hour. Then for those last 20 minutes, that's when I added the black malt. And that's just the color that you want. I didn't want that burnt, toast, charred, charcoal kind of
I
flavor
think
coming
it's got
through.
a little bit of that though. It's not. I mean,
I think that's probably where the bitterness is coming from.
yeah, like
It is actually quite red now that you
it's
look at
almost
it.
like porterish. It's very good though.
So the fourth beer pairing will be Old Potter's collab
Oh,
Porter.
oatmeal
with-
porter.
yes, oatmeal porter.
Oatmeal porter.
No, I'm very happy with this. Thank you very much, Trevor. I know you're listening.
Nice.
Thank you very much, Old Potters Inn. This is
Yeah.
delicious. This is the other beer that's going to sell us on the day.
Absolutely.
Stoked. Very excited.
It reminds me of the 4x4. Like the
I was going to say it reminds me of the Three Beards.
Speaking
so.
of
Yeah.
speaking of making your own
Yes.
beer and homebrewing,
Hmm.
we're in quite a prestigious homebrew club, which we've spoken about before on the show, Carthorse,
Fancy
Carthorse, yeah.
AF.
or also known as the Broken Brew Club.
Broken Stuff Brew House.
The commonality or the common what's the word, the repetition that happens in our club is that whenever Greg and I are left alone to brew something or
You break.
bottle or
Yeah.
rack, something gets broken.
Mostly a carboy.
Oh,
Yeah.
we've
Cowboy casualties
Yeah.
all day long.
cheapers, which is
know.
it's not nice to talk about, but I don't know why things break. I don't know why, but
School
anyway.
fees.
It's because you drink too much when
Yeah.
you're brewing.
But
We had to nail it down.
look how nice that beer is coming
No,
out.
this is very good.
So in terms of homebrewing,
Yeah.
the other thing that Fools and Fans Festival is doing is it's hosting a homebrew competition.
Nice segue.
Nice segue, hey?
Ah, well
Look
done.
at that.
And apparently you guys have got a serious amount of entries.
Well, nothing can go past Trevor. If you offer Trevor, what's the saying? If you give Trevor a finger, he takes the arm.
Take your kidney.
Takes your kidney. No, so I suggested, cool, we'll just do a local homebrew competition. Trevor was immediately, boom, let's do a national homebrew competition. And I was a bit wary, the logistics. But you know what? Trevor's one hell of an organized oak, and he has managed to organize so that people have sent their beer down to us in Greyton, and we have about 40 entries
Wow.
for this year's competition. Last year we had about 18.
Are you gonna be judging
Yeah,
that?
when are you judging?
So we're judging Saturday morning.
So don't ask you to carry any plates on Saturday afternoon.
We can do that Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
But and we've got about 12 judges coming, so that's good. So it's I'm very excited for this homebrew competition. I mean,
Was there a theme? What was the?
no theme at all. It's just brew a beer that you're happy with, enter it, and then some awesome prizes sponsored by Old Potters.
Nice.
I think it's the main prize is brew your beer on the Old Potter system, which is awesome. I can tell you
You
right
had the
now.
test run, yeah.
I can tell you it's an awesome system, and then some awesome prizes, vouchers from Beer Guevara. So, yeah, we've got 40 entries. I think we have to cap it. I think we might actually even get some more from maybe some Cart Horse Homebrew Club. Might have to enter some, and yeah, it's going to be it's going to be an awesome day. We've got so much going on.
You're not going to remember the day. Judging in the morning, beer pairing at lunch.
No. Last year I was very, very strict with myself. You know, I only had a beer at 4 o'clock.
40 beers, yeah.
Yeah, only 40 beers during the day. No, come 4 p.m. when everything's kind of in full swing, then I'll crack open a beer. But yeah, I suppose if you're still thinking about entering the homebrew competition, we might have a few more spaces. If it says sold out, and you listen to this and you want to enter a homebrew, then I'm sure you can give me a call, send me a text if you want to enter. We'll make a plan.
How are you judging it though? Is it? Are you going by category or is it?
It's BJCP,
BJCP, okay.
and it's like all things, we'll take the best beer of the day, best of show.
Nice.
And, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what people bring. It's going to be it's going to be a big day of drinking.
Well, it is a beer fest.
It is a beer
It
fest.
is a beer fest. Luckily, we've got exactly what everybody needs to line stomachs and everything like that. And you did say there were going to be some food stalls there, so happy days.
Happy days.
You did mention Beer Guevara. I was actually shopping there this morning, funnily enough.
Oh.
Yeah.
For one of those little treats. That
One of
are
those
gonna
little
be
treats.
on the first course, if I believe correctly.
I've got a good idea what's going to do it, but I won't get in there. Cool, guys. Well, I think we've been speaking for almost 40 minutes now, which just shows you how much fun we're having here on Hashtag Beer Time, Two Oceans Vibe Radio. Let's take a music break. How you doing? Hashtag Beer Time, Two Oceans Vibe Radio. It's Tuesday. It is 12:46. Tune into the holiday. Thank you for that little intro. How are you doing? Are you having a good Tuesday? We're having a fantastic Tuesday. It's been a long weekend. I'm sure you had a great time. I'm sure you had a few beers. I'm sure you had a braai here and there. You played with some matches, made a fire. I hope you did.
3 bras.
3 braais.
3 bras.
That's pretty good.
As you do.
That's pretty decent.
Yeah.
So I wanted to crack open this next beer. Let's do it. Let's crack open. The few things I want to talk about as I crack it open. We obviously have a bit of a theme going with today's show. I don't know if you've noticed, ladies and gentlemen, but it is it is
beer for a change.
yeah, it's about beer, but it's also to do with the Fools and Fans Festival happening this weekend in Greyton. And
fools talking on the
I'm not going to disagree with you there.
Yeah.
We've got some beers that are going to be there. We've had the first one was the Gobos, which was the collaboration beer between Little Wolf and Old Potter's Brewhouse. Then we had the
Another collab.
Oatmeal Stout, the collab between yours truly, Hashtag Beer Time, and Old Potter's Brewhouse, which was delicious. And now we're moving on to someone which you don't really see that often in the beer shops. At least I don't see them in a lot of the Cape Town bottle stores, maybe not even in Joburg, but I'm talking about Folk and Good Brewing Company, which is part of the Newton Johnson Winery and the Hemel and Arder Valley.
Yeah.
And it's
They've been around. Come on,
last
say
year.
it properly. It's fucking good.
Fucking good.
Fucking good.
Fucking good.
Yeah, but they've been around for a while, eh? Like.
No, they have been.
know?
They've had their license, their wine license, and
Yes.
this is what we saw this pattern happening 3 years ago, where the majority of Western Cape liquor license, brewing licenses, were actually extensions of wine licenses.
Okay.
Meaning that all the wineries were seeing this trend happening for craft beer, inverted commas, and thinking, well, it's a lot easier to get an extension of a liquor license than to apply for a new one. Let's get this. Let's see what happens. Let's see where this brewing license goes, and that's what's happened. This is one of those companies.
Yeah. I mean, there was a Newton Johnson wine farm up in the Himmel and Arter Valley. I think that, it's almost
I'm gonna crack it.
Yeah, crack it. Do it. I think that in the beginning there was a little bit of a story with wine farms that were also brewing beer, and that there was some cross yeast infection and all sorts of stuff. But it's now made for some, I think, interesting things. Now that we guys are starting to play around with different yeasts and different barrels, and this is a barrel aged beer.
Is it?
Yeah,
It's got your barrel release 004/17,
quite light for a barrel
4%
beer.
ABV.
Yeah.
It says this blonde beauty is all natural, tantalizingly pert and mesmerizing smooth. Okay, let's have a sniff.
Like I'm super happy with this. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, let's.
Because you know.
Because if this has been in a barrel and there was Brett in the barrel, potentially.
Okay,
don't
I'm getting a bit of a stinky smell up front, so I'm just gonna let that waft away.
Waft away. Dude, it's one of my favorite smells, man. I'm not gonna lie. You're seeing guys like Little Wolf and like Devil's Peak that are using your white wine barrels, your Shannons, and I think Little Wolf also did a Saison, which was 9 months in a Chardonnay barrel, which was sour and Brett and everything. We actually had one over the Easter weekend. Thanks, Stefan, for my Easter present, and it was delicious.
Which one did you get from Stefan?
Well, he actually gave us two. There were two Saisons. One that it was, he calls it the base beer, which was 9 months in a Chardonnay barrel, infected with Brett. And then I think he actually took that out and then put it on blackberries and cherries for a while.
Is that the one? Oh.
Yeah, there were two there. You missed it. This is what happens when you run marathons, Mr. May. Yeah. But, I won't lie, if this has been in a barrel for a while...
How do you think I stay in such good shape? I'm drinking all this beer. And that smell is still there. It's a little bit of an unpleasant... sulfuric smell, but I'm gonna give it a bit of a whirl and give it a taste.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm in. Give me a case of it.
Okay, the taste is good. The smell is a bit off-putting. But it is a bit of a sulfuric kind of smell coming through.
Definitely sulfuric.
I would say that this is. I don't know.
I don't think they were going for that.
Yeah, that's exactly my point. I don't know if this is what they were going for. But if it is a barrel release, so I'm assuming it's been in a barrel, and I'm assuming it's been in some kind of a white wine barrel. And if it is the case, and you enjoy sour beers, and this is not lactose sour, this is not milk sour, this is farmyard sulfuric, a little bit sour, which for me is actually delicious. Like you guys are on your own here. I'm on my own here.
No, I'm getting some of that sour tartiness that you would expect from having this beer in a wine barrel.
Yeah, I mean
but unfortunately there is too much of a strong sulfuric presence, which
it's pungent. I think if you just get in there, it's okay.
Yeah, I'm in. Are we drinking the same beer? I'm sure we are.
The taste is actually very light, very sessionable. It has 1 out of 10 strength in terms of tart sourness, which I think, considering it's a 4% barrel-aged blonde beer, perfect. Absolutely perfect. Unfortunately, there is that sulfuric presence, which, it's just...
half of your taste.
Yeah, I don't know what you guys are doing after this. I'm going to relent, and I'm going to go buy myself a case of this right now. I swear.
And I actually did get this.
Give me a big block of goat's cheese with this and some sourdough. And,
no, but I don't mind. I don't mind the flavor. It's just that the aroma isn't fantastic. But
So I
don't
did-
know if that's they were going for it. It
Yeah.
feels a bit.
But don't you love the fact that you're getting, and I think this is cool. I think it's great. You're getting wine farms that have gone, oh, okay, cool. I think probably the reason they would get to your point earlier about extending licenses and everything is probably because there were a bunch of guys going to the wine farms and going, oh, can I please buy a beer or whatever, while everyone else does a wine tasting or whatever it is. And you're making booze and everything like that. We'll just make a beer on the farm because it's easier than dealing with distribution from X, Y, Z or whatever it is.
You can hear that conversation. Like, how hard can it be?
How hard can it be? Well,
It turns out it's
easy
actually pretty hard.
Yeah, it's easy to make beer. It's the hard as coffin nails to make great beer. So that is a thing. But I think, and we're probably going to see it this weekend, that there's a lot of experimentation happening. Also with the homebrew thing, a lot of the guys I think will be pushing the boat out there a bit. And the fact that you've got guys, aging 4% blondes in wine barrels is, that's cool for me.
I was thinking of how to segue, because that's what we like doing here on the Tuitions Vibe Radio. We segue.
Oh, did I set you up? I didn't set you up. I'm
No,
sorry, man. You dropped the ball.
you did set me up earlier, and then we ventured off this completely different route. We're talking about the weekend and running and stuff like
Yes.
that, but I wanted to talk about beer and wine, and I wanted to talk about
Beer and wine.
wine and beer.
Beer and food.
No, wine and beer.
Wine and beer.
Ah, we were talking about
okay.
wine and beer. And a region where we went to this weekend was Franschhoek, which is known for their wine.
Beer nowadays. But
Beer
yeah.
nowadays. So last week's guest was Olaf from Franschhoek
Yes, yeah.
Beer Co. And
Great
I what's the word? I kind of balked at the idea of taking my wife there for our anniversary, and lo and behold, I did. So yesterday, unbeknownst to her, we drove out to Franschhoek, and I was like, ta-da! And it's not just your typical beer brewery destination. They actually have nice wines. They have nice food.
Yeah.
One of the co-owners is Ruben Rifle, I think, one of the chefs from South Africa. So the food menu is good to great, and we had a very nice little afternoon there. And
Well, the beers from Franschhoek are amazing. They're fantastic. I heard a rumor before they even got started, they actually took a trip over to the States. 2 or 3 of the guys, and if Olaf's listening, he can confirm or deny
this was said on last week's show. So if you were listening to last week's show, you
sorry.
no.
Yeah, that's where we heard it.
Sorry, that's the word.
Tell it, please.
And it shows in the beers.
Yeah.
To a certain degree, the beers
such a
are.
good idea.
No, the beers are big and they deliver on flavour. Some of them, personally, I think are a little bit potentially too boozy for the actual beers. But something like the Saison is amazing. It's 8% or whatever, but it backs it up with flavour. Delicious.
Yeah, no,
Really cool.
I had the Saison and the OPA, which are both hovering around the 7% mark.
Hefty, yeah.
So I just had the 350 ml, and then that was me. I was good for that. I just remembered now what I was going to say earlier. I need to give a quick shout out to Mr. Curtis Murray, who's dropping some absolutely fabulous tweets. The first one, the one he said here was, Proteas kind enough to end the cricket early, making sure everyone's radios are free for #beer time. Slow clap.
There you go.
That's the kind of stuff that gets you a front row seat at #beer time.
Free tickets to Fools and Fans.
Exactly. I think
He's coming.
he's in the area.
Yeah,
he's
he's
in the
coming,
area. And then we have to just give a special mention to our friend Rolly the Beer Geek.
Yeah.
Who
Hey, Rolly.
he's
Batman.
The most majestic moustache.
you know
in craft beer.
despite what everyone says about him, he's actually a
Yeah,
nice
he's
guy.
not such a bad guy.
He's not such a bad
The
guy.
rumors aren't true. There you
Yeah,
go.
I think everyone just gives him a really hard time. But you know what?
But he's
decent.
changed since he started doing CrossFit. I mean, is it just me or?
Yeah, I know. He's never mentioned to me that he does CrossFit.
Oh.
18 point what? 3, 4,
I don't
5,
know. No, but-
17?
Bless his soul.
We love you, Rolly.
We're looking forward to seeing you. Thank you for the tweets. Absolutely. Yeah, Rolly just set up the competition for us. So we're looking forward to seeing him. He was one of the first people to get his food and beer pairing tickets.
Thank you, Roy.
So
He's got good taste, eh?
he knows what to listen to. He knows what to eat and what to
Or he's
drink.
going to come and heckle us. One of the two.
Getting some other tweets and retweets here from Little Wolf, Old Potter's in. Awesome. Loving the interaction. I'm going to have another sip of this.
Well, we'll talk about cooking with craft and all of that good stuff. I'm
I'm dying to know what kind of recipes can we expect in your book? I mean, it will give us a little hint. What can we see on Saturday?
Is it?
Get a little hint.
Okay. Yeah, we might as well. If we're going to do it
one dish.
anyway,
Just tell us one dish.
If we're going to do it anyway, we might as well do it here. Yeah, the cooking with craft thing for us has been, cooking with beer is delicious. Even though you might not taste the beer sometimes, it's complex. It adds depth of flavor. This, that, like you. That's where do we start? That's it. Like not letting out too much. Okay, let's start here.
I'm expecting something meaty.
Yeah, well, think about it this way. We all love beer, and the ingredients that make beer are delicious ingredients.
Yep.
There's a reason that beer tastes good. So things like...
Oh, I know where you're going with this. Yep.
Yeah. So things like malt and hops are fantastic.
Yes.
But usually, when people say cooking with beer or cooking with craft or anything like that, you're either going the spent grain route, which is a mission, because you've got to dry it out and this and that. And spent grain doesn't taste like much because all the flavors kind of been hauled out of it. It's a good
fiber.
Yeah, it's a good flour
Texture.
substitute or something like that. So there's that. But malt is delicious, and there's however many 100 different kinds of malt, whatever it is, whether you're going caramel or biscuit or dark or whatever it is, all with different flavor profiles.
Yeah.
Now, if you start thinking about those as ingredients in food as opposed to ingredients in beer, they kind of bring the same thing to the party. So that's kind of what started out started us on this path of
Adventure.
It is an adventure. It is a thing. I mean, Carl actually started this whole thing.
Yeah, it was interesting. It started as it was just a small part of the book, and then the more.
When are you changing your name to Bread?
I don't know.
Bread Country. What Bribe Blitzum?
Bread Blitzum.
Yeah.
I enjoy baking bread. I really do. I think it's the most amazing process. It's very similar to brewing, as you all know. But I've been on this mission for the last year and a half of baking bread and all sorts of different things. And when you start filling with malt, that's not just spent grain. You get so much character into the bread. Like spent grain is good, and we often use it when we do home brews and that. But I just find that for the amount of effort that it takes to get in there, the reward isn't that great. But if you're using, this weekend you'll see, I started fiddling with chocolate malt and bread. And it changes everything quite dramatically because there's a lot of sugar in malt. And the first time I did it, the yeast just went insane, and it took me like half the time that it usually takes to make bread. Then we started fiddling with Rooster Cook, which is one of our favorite things to do on the braai. You can do a dark malt Rooster Cook. And you get the bread goes like brown, and it's crazy. And you can fiddle with all sorts of things, man. I've made cheese sauce out of malt. You blend the malt into powder. You can make malted cheese sauces. There's
malted bechamel sauce.
Bechamel sauce,
macaroni cheese.
You can.
This is the problem with having the show at lunchtime. Okay, just give us one weird.
Well, let me
ingredients or think part of our menu.
Well, the weird ingredient, let's call it the weird ingredient, the salt and pepper of beer. Thanks, Mr. Sean Duthie. Hops.
Yes.
Hops taste terrible, but they smell delicious.
Ooh, amazing.
We all know this. So we went on a bit of a mission as to how can you cook with hops, or how can you work hops into food. And it was very bitter for a lot of the time.
It's a difficult mission.
It is a difficult mission. It's tough, but it's not. We don't stand down from a challenge or shy away.
Exactly.
So did a bit of research, and one of the things that you'll see on the weekend is IPA dry hopped pickled onions.
Whoa. Just say it again slowly.
IPA dry hopped pickled onions. You know, it took us a while to work everything out.
I need to ask: are they sliced? Are they whole little balls?
like
are they...
red pickled onions. So
red slices.
The sliced, sliced pink pickled onions. You know, we're not going to tell you what they're going with, but they are aromatic and earthy and delicious.
It's the best result we've had.
Yeah,
with lots of different experiments of hops.
I mean, there's like with hops and everything like that. You know, a lot of infusions work. So like a hop infused olive oil, but you got to be. We haven't figured that one out 100% yet. You know, we've heard rumors that you can use hops in curing salt, so you can get a hop cured smoked salmon. You know,
the funny thing with hops though in cooking is like when you eat food, you're not necessarily looking for bitter flavors. And like in Asian cuisine, you get a lot of bitter flavors, and it's like been a big thing over there for so long. And I mean, you said Matt Preston said it this year, so it's a funny thing because I was doing some reading about why your brain makes things taste bitter, and they think that it could have been because if things are poisonous, then they're bitter. So it's like you have this natural response to not really like it, but you like chicory is delicious. Once you get your head around it, it's going to be super bitter. So it's taken a while to figure out what it works with, how it works, but I think it can be done.
I've just put 2 and 2 together now, in terms of if I had to cook with hops, and maybe you guys can steer me in the right direction here. But my brain is thinking, well, if you're making a beer, you wouldn't just use hops; you would need a sugar sauce to balance that. Yeah. So malt.
But now you can balance it with a sweet beer. So that's
what I'm talking about. And when you make a food, let's just say, for example, I'm picking out. Let's just say we get a whitefish, a fresh caught grunter, and you want to cover it in hops. It might give a lot of bitterness to that. I don't know. I'm just.
The problem
would you honey and hops? Maybe
could you put in a honey there? Could you put in a
you could do
sugar sauce?
I mean, you could do a hop infused honey. That's why the infusions work well. But now what we've ended up doing is actually crushing Cascade hops and putting them in empty tea bags, and using those to infuse honey or olive oil or like with the dry hop pickled onions, because you don't want any actual hops in there. Also, as a brewer,
you want the oils to come out, right?
Well, as a brewer, you will know this. Hops and heat are not friends, because that just makes it bitter and takes away all the aromatics.
Yes.
So you don't want that. So cooking with hops we haven't figured that out yet, and I don't even know if we will, because it's probably not the best idea in the world. Because again, like, you don't want hops to be more bitter. But it's hard to get the oils out, so that's why we've used the hop like Cascade, where you've got low alpha, high aroma, and you don't low alpha, so you don't have like a lot of the alpha acids that can get converted to give you that really big bitterness. Do I sound like I know what I'm talking about?
It feels like we've gone to a cooking show here. I'm going to segue to a show that's I watched last year. What is it? Chef's Table.
Yes,
and the one episode was the rosemary pillow that the guy he got a pillow and he stuffed it with a spear that had rosemary essence go into that.
Yeah, it's Alenia,
and then he put the food on top of the pillow, and then you eat the food, and then at the same time you're pushing the pillow down, and the rosemary smells are coming out. So maybe that is
there's a way there, maybe. Yeah.
Will we have any?
But it's exciting because we've only.
You're not going to get any of that.
You're not getting hop
pillows. There's no hop pillows. It's like you repeat. There's no Alenia Michelin star 3-star vibes happening.
The Michelin star cooking and everything like that.
That is pretty cool.
Nothing like that.
Yeah. There'll be lots of bras.
A hop pillow. There's an idea for someone who has the time and energy and a little bit of backing to open a restaurant.
If you've got the whole Heston vibe, you can get hops into dry ice, and then when you pour the water on it, you get that smoke that happens, aroma.
That's taken it a whole new level. Imagine the beer.
It's not dry ice on the weekend either, I promise.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway.
How's your beer going, bud?
I'm going to have another sip.
No, it's going to be awesome. Like, we're trying a lot of things out, so if people don't like it, they must tell us. If you think it's cuck, tell us it's cuck. Rolly, I'm sure you will.
Yeah.
But
there's big flavors. There's some chili in there. We've tried to concentrate as much flavor as possible into every single course, and put quite a bit of thought into which beer it's going to work with and everything. And it's like we're looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it, ladies and gentlemen. That's the food and beer pairing this Saturday at Fulton Fans Beer Festival, great. And I think we're going to start somewhere around 1:32. There's no real structured time.
30-ish.
1:30, yeah, 1:30.
Depends how organized we are.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Depends how much cooking we get.
Let's say 1:30. We actually only started to
1:30 for 5.
Yeah, well, exactly. Okay, so I want to go back to this beer quickly. I've let this beer kind of settle, and I haven't touched it, and I've actually found that sulfuric smell has kind of dissipated. It's gone away a little bit. Still little subtle notes, but
I couldn't tell you because mine's finished.
Guess where you'll
Finished
be.
calls as well.
so let's take a quick music break while we've got one or two more beers. Yeah, we've got 2 more beers that we can go through. So we're gonna take a quick music break, and I have no idea what's we're gonna play. No, we'll play this. We'll play the song, and then we'll see you guys in a few minutes. Ciao. Yeah, so there's definitely something for everyone.
Yeah.
Even if you don't like beer, but
Come on. Come on.
there's no such
Just don't know you
Those
like it
people
yet.
don't exist.
Yeah.
But what we're very excited about is that everyone's creating their own kind of festival beer.
That
which I
for
think
me,
we've seen happen now in 1 or 2 festivals here and there. It's very big in the States.
It should be standard for me. Like that's
Absolutely.
it should
every
be a
festival
standard.
you go to,
Yeah,
you have
man.
to create a new beer.
It should be standard because it's such a it's the best.
a
Every
draw
time
card.
it's done, it's a draw card.
Yeah.
Plus, I've had every beer. You've had every beer.
Yeah.
So it's just something new, and I really think it's a fantastic idea. And these guys get to play a bit, you know. I was trying to get some information out of the guys in the group, who's brewing what, but no one's really said anything.
Well, one of the options we said to the people, like, if you don't have the resources or time, do a collab with
Yeah,
someone there.
fantastic idea.
And that's also very community based. It's very like what craft beer is.
I mean, you guys,
suppose.
we've had 2 today already,
Yeah.
and this is now.
Well,
Well, I mean, crack that.
let's
I
crack
haven't had
this
this one. Crack that one.
This is the 3rd collab we're having. Unfortunately, one of these breweries won't be there, but the other one will.
Well, they've got a good reason, eh?
They've got a very good reason. They're from the UK. Fuller's, we had Fuller's on the show about 2 months ago. But when they were down here, they went to Woodstock Brewery and they made a collab, the African Pride India Porter.
It's nice.
Very nice.
Nice idea.
I think that's a whole play on their London Pride. So let's stop talking about it.
Africa, I mean, was that with Africa Pride hops?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
I think so. I stand to be corrected, but I'm going to just say yes.
No, just go with a yes. Definitely go
Better
with
for
a
the
yes.
story. Just go with it.
Yes.
Exactly. Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, one of the other collabs that'll be there is actually our collab with Wild Clover
Oh yeah, on tap.
on tap. Yeah, that's the beer that's all
There you go, gents.
Umpy and them are bringing in, which is the 3 Beards
Okay.
blended ale, which was
You guys had that in the mix case in December, I think.
It was
eh?
one of the best received beers in that mix code. Actually, you know, there's something to be said for 1 + 1 makes 3, and you know, combining a lot of flavors in a beer that you wouldn't be able to get from a single brew necessarily. So
I think that was what also helped was that I don't think anyone had really seen
Yeah, I must admit, I
a
will.
blended beer.
I will fess up. I was totally against it. I said to Greg, "You're smoking your socks. Let's rather make something new." Yada yada yada.
This wasn't the first time you thought Greg was smoking.
Oh
socks.
man, it's on a daily basis.
Daily basis.
And then he actually turned out to be right. So for once, you know.
for one.
And I thought it was delicious. It was complex. You weren't really sure what it was, but it was nutty and brown and delicious.
Well, let's talk about this Fuller's and Woodstock Brewery collab.
Smells nice.
It's got here on the back label, this hopped up porter, collaboration with Fuller's Brewery, based in London, is brewed with Fuller's ale yeast and heavily hopped with African Queen, well, there you know,
Yeah.
Equinox and Simcoe. Brewed like an American-style IPA, but with the addition of dark malts, this beer is very hop-forward with a smooth, rich finish.
That smells exactly like what it says on the label.
I'm just
That is
smelling
hoppy and roasty.
What is it called?
African Pride.
But is it a black IPA?
It's a porter.
Indian. Oh, fuck, that's blended in streams.
India.
Yeah.
It's kind of like okay.
Across the streams.
Indian porter. India porter.
I'm definitely getting some nice chocolate dark malt.
But it's in the background. I mean, it's,
And then-
you know, they said hop forward and they weren't joking.
That's very nice.
Oh, it's delicious.
That's very good.
So this is going to be one of those beers that will be at the festival.
Yo, I know what I'm drinking.
6.5%.
Yes.
Yeah, me.
I'm having one of them then.
Yeah. No, but this is fantastic. Oh,
Cool label as well. Very local.
yeah, nice African traditional.
Oh, that is a surprising.
So this is the first time we've had this
Well,
on the show,
actually,
but
you know, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't
No,
be
it
surprising.
shouldn't
Woodstock
be.
and Fullers. I mean, it's not surprising that it's absolutely delicious. Foot flat, forward to the floor, delicious.
yeah, tip of the cap to Woodstock. I think it's Murray and
Dylan.
the two brewers there. So well done to you, gents. This is fantastic. Obviously, they had
And you know what's nice is it for the amount of hop aroma sitting on this beer, it doesn't finish radically bitter. It finishes very balanced, which
It's like
is
a nice combo of the malt and the.
yeah,
It's not
really,
full-wavy
really,
bitter. It's
really
pretty
cool.
Powerful.
I mean, it's a powerful beer. I mean, no doubt, no doubt.
I hate to say it, but beer of the day for me.
Woof.
African Pride. And then a close second is the
Oh,
stout.
that's what I was going to say. I didn't
The
want
stout is the close second.
I'm with Folk Good still.
Are you still hanging on to
I'm
that?
Still going, man. It's,
Yes, no, I think when I compare this to my stouts, this is a lot more hoppier, a lot more nose aroma in terms of the chocolates, malts coming through. This almost feels like it's got more body. I don't know if it's the perceived body.
It might just be the.
it's a meaty beer.
the head
It's,
is-
It is a bit of, that's right, that's a good word, meaty beer.
It's got a lot more head as well.
Let's talk about. I mean, I can't believe we're in April already. I mean, I don't know where this year is going, but things are happening quickly. Lots of things happening on the beer events, beer calendar. We've got this weekend is the big event, the event that we've been looking forward to the whole year. It's the Fools and Fans Festival in Greyton. We're going to hammer that home this show.
Where is it again?
Yes, I believe it's in Greyton. And then there's a little bit of a underlying rumor or whisper that the gents from Lagunitas are in town, which they are in fact. And I'm not too sure what events they have planned, but I know that there are some events happening. So I've asked the chaps from Jack Black just to give more information. So let's just see what they have before the end of the show. But there's things happening. We've been talking about it for a while now. You know, I've said it on every show now and again, like, when are we going to get more American beers onto our shore? And I think this was kind of one of the things we expected, you know, with Jack Black kind of marrying into the Heineken family. You know, get in some of those more well-known, let me just say, crafty beers.
Well, I will tell you. Let me tell you a story quickly.
We love stories.
I've got a story for you. You know, when I went over, it was 2015. I went over to Burning Man in the States, and despite the arguments for and against, you know, inverted commas, big beer and all the rest of it.
Sure.
On the flight home, there was Budweiser, Bud Light, and about one or two other really, you know, bottom of the range beers.
Nice.
And then there was a Goose Island IPA.
Ooh.
Yeah, which is I think it's in the AB InBev stable.
Yep.
That said, it wasn't bad on the flight home. No, it was.
That's a good story.
It was a thing.
I like that
It was,
story.
It was one of the good things about big beer. Yeah.
You're gonna
It's
get
it's a
some good
different can
things.
of worms.
You're gonna get some
Different
good
can of
things. You're gonna get some things which people obviously just aren't in favor of.
No, well, I think when it comes to local and lekker, which it always is, it's a choice.
Yep.
And it's up to us to make those choices as beer consumers, and we see how it goes. But it is it's an exciting landscape.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
And I think as long as people are educated and are exposed to the variety what's out there in terms of styles, in terms of brands, labels, and like I said earlier in the show, just that repetition in terms of education. One such example is the upcoming Cask Festival. You know, that's a totally
First, yeah.
new aspect in terms of festivals in South Africa.
Looking forward to that one as well. It's going to be a busy 2 weeks.
That's on the 14th of April.
14th with Shackleton.
Gives me a week to recover after the Fools and Fans, but
Is that enough?
actually,
He's only drinking from 4, didn't you hear?
after this weekend, I said I need to slow down a bit. But we've got old Stevie on the show next week,
Nice.
so that should be a good one. But it's these kind of things which, 5 years ago, when the modern or the common man was introduced to this artisanal beer festival. Like, what is this? Now the people are getting introduced to a flipping cask festival.
What's
you know?
amazing about it is it's such an old way of doing things. Yet It's so new here, and I think that festival's going to be successful, but they need to educate people about what it is, because it is a very different,
I think
kind of beer.
you need to know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I don't think it's ever bad to have more beers available, big beers from overseas, because you need a barometer. You need some sort of
Bar, a
bar
line, yeah.
to gauge what we've got here locally. And if it's that, then it's that. I don't think it's a bad thing.
No.
It'd be nice to get some cask beers from overseas. I don't think I've ever had. I've probably had one cask beer in my life.
I don't think you would, because
Yeah, it's not really an export thing, is it?
don't
Or-
you have to cask beer? You have to drink it within 2 to 3 days.
Oh, really? Is it that? See, I don't know this. We're learning.
I think with.
Teach us, Obi-Wan.
I think we're going to learn next week on the show. But as from what I know is that you need to drink that beer pretty
Okay,
quickly.
so it's a local scene, which is cool.
Yeah, so maybe that's why we don't get kegs sent over. Can you imagine a cask
That's quite an interesting thing. Because
over a week? You get beer. It's just, yeah.
Because when you say cask, it implies aging and barrels and.
But it doesn't really mean the same thing, does it?
No,
because you've got to drink it so fresh. It's not. Is it an age thing? I don't think.
I don't know. Apparently not.
Are you googling it?
Google, quickly!
Well, these questions will all be answered next week. So tune in.
My phone is frozen. I'm trying to.
Anyway, let's talk about something we do know.
Let's talk about one of the other beers in the pairing.
Shout out to Dean. Dean Langkild is listening.
Oh, what's up,
But he's in Joburg. He's not coming.
He's
this
not
week.
coming.
He's sitting on the full side of the.
Yeah, but he did
the part
enter
of-
homebrew, didn't he? Or did he? Did he or didn't he?
We will see. I shall be the judge.
Let's do this.
Guys, let's move on. I'm trying to see who else entered this competition.
sound like
Let's move
fools.
on. Let's move on. Drink that one up, Troy. We're actually going on to.
You give it a crack.
We've gone from Woodstock and Fuller's
Yes.
back to Woodstock.
Why are we having this beer?
Well,
Because it's the only beer I had, and you said bring something.
No,
I'm joking.
There's another reason.
I'm joking.
no, this is another one of the beers that'll feature in the pairing. At the thing, there's
Such a good beer.
some crazy stuff we're doing with it, and it's one of the beers that works unbelievably with food. It's Mr. Brownstone Hazelnut Brown Ale, also from Woodstock.
It's probably my favorite beer in their skew.
Yeah.
Smashed.
I love
onto
it.
the scene.
Oh,
What 2 years ago? Was it 2 years ago? It might have
2
been 2
years,
years
maybe.
ago. I think 2 or 3 years. And it's one of their seasonals, along with Lady of the Night and Afternoon Delight, and one or two.
I
other
enjoyed
ones.
their Belgian Amber when it first came out.
Hot Belge.
Pot
Hot
Belge,
Belge,
yeah.
I had a trip
That was
with
good,
and I still
yeah.
do it. I don't know. I mean,
We
Hot Belge is
we
still
actually
there.
need to get Murray and Dylan on the show.
Probably, but like my trick, it sounds like cheating. But if you go to the Woodstock tap room, a 60-40 Californicator pot belge, and you end up with an amber session IPA.
You're talking about
pretty damn
mixing.
tasty.
You're talking about
Beers.
mixing.
Yeah.
Out the tap. Yeah.
Anyway, so this
Are you loving it?
Anyway,
Mr. Brownstone, we're
Yeah.
going to be doing something quite cool with this. We've been doing a lot of fiddling around with beer butters, reducing
Beer
beer
butter.
yeah, butters.
So you take a full bottle, reduce it down into about 2 tablespoons. It becomes very thick and sticky. Then fold it into butter.
Hold on. Whoa.
Whoa.
You take a bottle, a 440ml bottle,
440ml bottle of beer.
and you put it on the stove top, you reduce it.
Reduce it down slowly till about 2 tablespoons.
2 tablespoons.
Yeah, it takes a while, yeah, about 30 minutes.
440 mils
Yeah.
to 2 tablespoons.
But yeah, as you all know, you cook, everything reduced is intensified. So with IPA is a bit tricky because it's super bitter.
Yeah.
But with stouts, it works amazing. And that's what I normally do at home is you make stout butter with some, you make some cling film, you
Oh,
fold
my word.
all the ingredients in, you chuck it on there, and you roll it into a little log, you put it in your freezer. Whenever you're having steaks or whatever it is, you just cut a slice off and melt it on.
Plop it on the top.
Oh, my word.
So
Guess what I'm doing. Guess what I'm saying.
there will be Mr. Brownstone butter in the course.
My word, I'm smelling this. This has to be different from the last time.
It's so
The last
hazelnutty,
batch.
eh?
No, I think
This
that's
is
probably
vanilla, toffee.
No.
You know that after
Oof, it's good.
after dinner you get that toffee.
Yummy.
Eh?
Oh my word, this is
I'm
incredible.
really looking forward to the butter on this. I think it's going to be. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there is it's the butter. That's part of the cooking with craft as well. There might be a little bit of a beer dukkha as well.
Yeah, it's also an interesting one.
Yeah, interesting one. Using malt in, with toasted coriander seeds and roasty nuts and all sorts of stuff.
Oh, I'm very excited.
Yeah.
So I just remembered. I mean, there's so much happening this weekend.
Good, eh? I told you.
Besides,
This is the
Woodstock.
This-
All right, boys.
yeah,
knocked
well
out
then
the park.
we have to have Woodstock on the show, so maybe we'll aim to get them later on this month. But what I wanted to talk about is surprise, surprise, Fools and Fans beer festival.
Is that in Greyton this weekend?
Happening this
Oh
weekend.
my gosh, that's the one, eh? Yeah.
And I'm very excited because we're going to get to see 2 very famous people. It's Greg and Carl, I don't know if you've heard of them, from Bear Country. And they're going to be doing the food and beer pairing. It is absolutely one of those things that you just have to get your tickets for now. So if you are listening, you have the opportunity to get your tickets. Do it now. They're going to be gone on the day. Don't come crying to me. Troy, can I come sit with you?
Can't
No.
you organise something?
No, no, sorry. Another thing that's happening, it's kind of like an invite only, but if you're listening to the show and you are going to be there, let's
wondering about this.
let's spread the love.
Yeah.
The Friday night, there's a bit of a poiky vibe, and it's kind of like the pre-festival brewers get together where we're all bringing out different weird kind of beers, stuff that we've kept in the back of our fridge, stuff that's we've aged, stuff that's we've soured intentionally or unintentionally.
We've got some cartels that we could bring.
But that's good cartos. That's some good beer. So that's happening on the Friday. It's a completely separate kind of pre-event. It is a pre-event though, and that's I think again you're getting some poiky, you're getting some beer, and it's just a kind of a chit chat.
Tickets for that? Is it tickets?
It's not really tickets.
Okay.
You just kind of need to let us know, like, if you're interested.
At the Old Potters.
At the Old Potters. It is at the Old Potters. And I have been told that, apparently Greg and Carl will be there.
I just found out.
Just to let everyone know, I had a chat with old Trevor this morning. Old Trevor and Troy. I think I'm going to call the two of you T&T from now on.
There's also Tatenda, the head brewer. So
Oh, really?
the 3 T's, yeah.
Okay. And we will definitely be there. There will be Poiky. It won't be ours. But at Old Potters, a lot of the brewers, some crazy beers, and just a good kind of, I think the first half will be a little bit formal. Just, obviously saying a massive thanks to Trev and Troy for organising this little shindig on the weekend. And then we'll taste some beers. There will be a bit of a Q&A session, and
Trev's excited.
it will be fun.
He is super excited.
He was excited last year, the day after.
Well, I will say
360 days ago, he's been so excited.
There are a ton of festivals and a lot of beer festivals in South Africa, and if I have to pick top 3, I mean, Fools and Fans is definitely there. If not clawing its way to the top of the pile.
The Chios is strong, man, and
Chios
that's
is strong.
often overlooked with a lot of places. And
As
you
I've
need that.
said with Sorry. Please continue.
No, that was it.
That was it. As I've said with Trevor, like my vision for this festival in helping plan it is not a short-term thing. It's a long-term goal to make this. Heck, why not just a South African beer festival, but an international beer festival where people come from around the world. They want to travel to South Africa because there's a beer festival. It's a massive thing to aim for, but why not? Why not make it a festival where it's just huge? And I say huge in terms of merit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Table Mountain, West Coast Daisies, Fools and Fans. Although you have to be here.
If anyone from the tourism department is listening, we need some help.
Yeah, exactly.
Table Mountain, Robben Island, Fools and Fans. Happy days.
So, yeah, again, guys, this weekend is going to be so awesome. I'm so excited.
I see Dean is tweeting. He's got huge FOMO. Sorry, Dean.
No, but he must learn.
Yeah, you must learn.
He must learn. He must
Take the hard line. Yes.
what else? Okay, well, we're getting some tweets in.
You know, that's the thing with the beer festivals, and it goes to everything that we've spoken about today with festival beers. You know, there's like the big festivals like the Cape Town Festival of Beer. You know, it's absolutely got its place, and it's a fantastic festival to expose people, you know, the greater public to craft beer. But things like this that are developing literally outside in the country, it's incredible. Can't wait.
Well, do we have any more beer?
We've got some more coffee.
I mean, it wouldn't be a show.
It
wouldn't be
a beer country show without some more coffee.
Do you want to? Should we go? Let's just go straight into it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's
what have we got?
we've got. I can't believe it. We've got 20 minutes, but let's make it 10 minutes because we need to clean the studio
Clean up as usual.
for the next show. So let's crack open. It's been an absolute pleasure having you guys in the studio.
I'm not going to wash my glass out because I think a little brown soda and wood coffee will be a nice.
Absolutely.
Guys, what?
100%.
So we entered a beer in the south. We entered a beer in the Southeasters Summer Festival. It didn't do too well, but
it was.
We tried to make a New England IPA, but I think what happened. Ooh.
It was an interesting experiment.
It was. It didn't come out as that style. It came out more as a hoppy wheat, which actually, if we had entered it as that, it would have been delicious.
Yeah, I think, I will tell you.
How was it received on Saturday?
Over the weekend, it was,
After like the fifth one, it was amazing.
The fifth one, it was beautiful.
Wow.
It was. We tried to do a Southern Passion wet hop New England, and I think that unless you are Rogue or Sierra Nevada or something like that, where you have fields and mountains and everything of wet hops is it's a tough one. It is a fresh hops it's a tough one.
It's not easy to brew.
No, it's a different animal.
Was that your first time?
I
Well, you know.
Oh, but for the first time, I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
Yes, it was my first time brewing with wet hops, and it's as Greg said, there's a whole different ball game. You've got, I think, 4 times the amount than normal hops in terms of weight because of all the water in there.
Yeah.
So it alters your mathematics and what you got to put in terms of weights and stuff like that. But and also I just.
Hey, Carl, Carl had a good point over the weekend. We were chatting about this, and there's a reason, things that are dried and baked and everything. There's a reason that biltong tastes good.
Yes.
It's because it's concentrated meat.
Yes.
Basically, so you're removing the water out of it and curing it. There's a reason why, the guys make hop pellets.
I like where you're going with this.
Yeah, so it's because it works. So the wet hop thing, while sexy and the best idea in my head, and I often do this, is have these ideas that need to get out. So else the voices don't.
Is that true, Cole?
The voices don't keep quiet.
Is that true? Does Greg get a lot of ideas and just blurt them out? Is that true?
Jeez, daily.
But
daily.
until they actually manifest and we
Until
do
they
until we
flourish.
do the experiment, the voices don't keep quiet. So
Well, let's carry on this train of thoughts in
Yeah.
terms of concentration, because I think that's a good stepping stone to the next beer we need to make.
okay, wait, what is that one?
Well, I've always wanted to make a Russian Imperial Stout
Yeah, there we
with you
go.
guys.
That's what I thought you were going to say.
So
We do have a barrel.
we do have a barrel, a wonderful oak barrel, which we need to. It just sits in there, so we do need to actually make a beer. And this is the kind of beer we make it now, and then we have it next year, kind of thing.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
just let it sit in that.
Next year, Fools and Fans.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Hey.
Hey, hey.
Got to come to the pairing event if you want to taste that.
Well, speaking, I mean, is there anything about the?
So let's talk about
I don't know. No.
Let-
It's not
let-
my call.
let's talk about this.
Well, I mean, talking about putting stuff in a barrel, we will say this without letting too much of a cat out of the bag.
Oh, a first on hashtag beer time.
No, well, you know, we've chatted with our good mate Fraser, and there might be something exciting coming out around Christmas.
Oh, you know how to tease us.
Hey,
You know it.
we won't
Fraser's
say-
coming to the festival as well.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah.
He's a hoot.
He's awesome, man. He's
He's
one
a
of our
hoot.
favorite people. He's bringing. He's coming as an attendee, which is great. So
No,
he's
he's
bringing
he's
down
a
a
good
couple
lad.
of cool beers. I'm sure it'll be fun. It always is.
Yeah, Moor Coffee is definitely one of the beers in the pairing. He's been fooling around down there in Elam, straight by, and you know, as it is, you know, it's like a song that's never finished or a painting that's never finished. You know, you keep making things better and better and better and better, and that's what he's been doing.
It's at Black Oyster, eh? What's
Black Oyster Catcher Wines down in Elam. It is a blast if you go down there. Make sure you have
That's near-
Make sure you have a designated driver.
that's near Ross's place. From
Oh,
our
yeah,
other
that's
Ross,
true.
oh,
Yeah.
buddy Ross.
yes,
Does-
Brandfontein.
Ross still likes beer, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know. I haven't seen him in so long.
We haven't seen him.
I mean, he's part of the homebrew club, isn't he?
He is. Although-
Was.
Is he?
Oh. Tears will be streaming down. We're giving a quick shout out to our buddy Ross.
But yeah,
Let's talk about this beer, but
So Moor Coffee will be the it's
The
the
final
final
pairing.
pairing on the evening. It's been a baby it was our first baby.
this is very, what's the word? Thick.
It's
How is that? How did you guys do that?
You know, that was the thing with this beer is getting a massive stout flavor and a bunch of flavor into a 5% beer, which is tough. But like I say, our mate Fraser down there has helped us out and sorted it out, and it's getting to where we need it to be.
I think it's delicious.
You know, well, thank you, man.
So this will be the final beer of the food pairing.
Final beer?
Yeah, final beer. We've got,
So we had can we go through the first beer? When we've told kind of
it's
people
the Go Boss.
the Go
Yeah,
Boss
let's go through.
Saison.
Go Boss Saison. Yeah.
The second beer is
Well, the second beer we've actually got that course will be a little bit more what people are used to. So there'll be a peri sauce made with beer, like a beer peri sauce.
With a very good beer.
Can you tell us
with
the
a
beer?
Very good beer. That's
Little
a
Wolf
Little
Hoppy
Wolf-
Wheat.
Yeah, which
My
we had
word.
the other day. So
Flavor of the month.
Unbelievable.
It's so good. Oh,
Mango
so
and
good.
like mango and guava. So you're dealing with all of those kind of tropical, almost like Caribbean flavors. You know, like when you have a Caribbean pizza and it's bacon, banana, and garlic, and you know, pizza and this and that. You're dealing with
Anyone who says they don't have bacon and banana on a pizza,
Hey,
I-
that's my favorite combo.
I was never a bacon and banana.
What
guy,
does
but
Gordon
I'm
Ramsay
going-
know?
I'm
He
going
doesn't like pineapple on pizza.
I know, right?
so many
banana.
times I've sat next to people like, I don't have the banana on my pizza.
But I mean, those are the flavor profiles that we'll deal with in that second pairing. So it's charred, hot peri.
The funny thing about peri peri, if you've
Yeah.
ever made it yourself, and you really should make proper peri peri, if you use good chilies, they have a lot of fruity characteristics. When you blend them up fresh like that, it all comes out. So the idea there is to pair the fruitiness of chilies with that massive tropical fruitiness
tropical, like
of-
mango and guava. Woo!
of hoppy wheat.
Yeah. You know, there's a couple of other things. The
Third
next
beer?
one we've got.
Third beer is Your beer.
The start?
The start, yeah.
Fourth beer?
Well, actually, third beer would be Mr. Brownstone.
No, we're lying.
Yeah, third
Third
beer
is
would
Brownstone,
be Mr.
yeah.
Brownstone. Fourth one would be your cola, and the fifth one will be a Moor coffee.
Oh, that is a lovely combo right there. Cha, cha, cha.
We always try and stay away from dark beers, but we just seem to cannot get away from dark beers.
No, but that's...
We blame the fire. We blame the fire. It's the fire's fault.
Still said to Greg in the beginning, it's like we can't only have dark beers. we've got to have.
It was like our stand at the Cape Town Festival of Beer. We were like, "Yeah, no, it's cool. No, we're gonna go. We're gonna have a stand. We're gonna showcase 3 different beers, collabs, and everything like that." And it was dark beer. It was like dark beer country. You know.
Yes, all your beers were dark.
Dark beer.
Look, there's
4x4 black lager.
absolutely nothing wrong with having dark beers.
So good. So good.
I'm a big fan.
Fire, char, smoke, dark beer. Yum.
I think it was Bain who said, are you afraid of the dark? Are you afraid of the dark beers?
Where's Riley when you need him?
Yeah. He's probably jumping.
He's tweeting. He's tweeting right now.
It doesn't sound like that, man.
I was born in the dark.
I was born. You forget I was born in the dark. Right.
Anyway.
Before the show falls to
10 minutes, man.
yeah, but okay, let's wrap up because there are 10 minutes left, but we do want to actually just kind of wrap up things. So in case you've only just joined us now, this is #Beer Time, and we are very excited to let you know that this weekend in Greyton, it is the Fools and Fans Craft Beer Festival. 16 brewers, 2 gin stands, 2 gin suppliers. What do you say? Gin? What is it? Gin?
Distillers.
There we go. And ginneries, and 2 wineries, and a whole bunch of food stalls.
Music.
Live music. We've got some
Cool stuff, yeah.
We've got
Jane
Are there any live?
Jenny and the
Jenny and the
and then we also got the
Jameses, or-
Afrikaans Rasta band.
Oh, they were there
which-
last time.
They were there last time. They
great.
were
Yeah,
hoots.
very cool.
And of course, got a few A-team celebs.
#Beer Time.
Hashtag beer time.
Greg and Carl from Beer Country doing the food and beer pairing. I actually think I've just seen some tickets actually just been sold while we've been talking, so that's pretty cool.
Boom! It's working.
It's working.
Keep saying it. Greyton.
Yeah, so don't be a fool. Get your tickets for that's a totally separate kind of event on the day. That's a food and beer pairing, which we've just been talking about on the show. And yeah, it's going to be one heck of a fun weekend. So I hope to see you there. Who should win tickets?
It's tough to say.
Go get
It's
it.
tough to say.
Okay.
Well,
You know, it is.
I'm not going to give tickets to Trevor or Rowley because they're going to be there anyway.
Yeah, don't do that.
No, I'll select. I'll find someone and I'll give you some free tickets. Someone who I can see who's been listening. Guys, what an awesome show! I'm going to see you. I'll see you this week.
Yeah.
Hey?
Thank you.
It's a short week. It's a short 4-day week.
Dude, thank you for having us
Again. Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
Anyone that's listening, thank you for listening to the voices. Sure.
In our head.
Yeah. It's it's going to be an amazing weekend. It's,
What a great time to be alive, huh?
Great time.
Oh, and on that note,
Vomit. Okay, let's play out with some Celine Dion because I know how much you guys like that.
thanks, man. My heart will go on, please.
No, we won't.
My heart. will go
Something more vibey. you
to
know?
great.
Something more vibey.
Give us something vibey, yeah, to set the tone for the weekend.
Okay.
Like ministry.
No. We'll play.
More-
We'll play indigenous.
More vibey.
More
Celine
vibey.
Dion is what I mean.
Guys, absolute pleasure. Thank you for listening to #Beer Time on Tuitions Vibe Radio. We will see you next week where we talk to Stephen from Shackleton. Thanks for listening, guys and girls. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Just search for #BeerTime. That's #BeerTime written out in full. Hope you enjoyed the show, and check you next time. Cheers.